should have put my makeup.
No, it's okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It was an extremely insightful conversation, because once you know the process, you then know, first of all, what you have to do and what you can do. So we had with William, I would be lying if we said that we spent the last 10 days talking about this. No, that's not true, but we had definitely had a couple of days of you digesting information, and so we had a good catch up. And so the things that have, I think the where we are at, where I am at as his parent, is that, as you say, there are certainly important things that need to happen that are not in our control, which determine certain decision going forward. And those situations need to unfold, and without having more, how can I say, concrete base on which to build, it's difficult to say, okay, let's start now, let's hit the button, let's press the accelerator and let's move on. So things that, and by the way, the important thing that happened, we had the school kick-started the process for college selection. So we had actually our first meeting with the dean, who is the person that is going to guide this future junior into the process of selection. So he took us through a whole process of how and what and what. So it's definitely a big new world that we need to go. But I think the message that we got, and I think that that's important, is that it would be amazing if we could say, okay, let's start with soccer and then see what we can find. Unfortunately, we have to flip the coin, and we need to do the other way around. We need to have a short list of colleges that work from an academic perspective and that fit William's academic direction and ground, and then cross-check that list with the colleges that offer soccer at a realistic level, which probably is going to be D3, unless some miracles happen in the next 12 months, which I don't think is going to happen. But say, even if we go for a realistic, solid D3 scenario, that feels already pretty, a pretty good aim to have. So that's one thing. So the college selection, because William did find a website where actually was pretty amazing. It was the NCA something. NCAA. So basically they pull out every single university in the states divided by D1.
NCSA. Good. I'm glad you found it. Good.
So
good.
Definitely we've seen amazing names from Ivy League to universities that we've never heard before. So definitely there's a long list of potential soccer colleges, which hopefully will be also in the short list of what works for William academically. And this process will start beginning of next year, beginning of I think fall. When
with the dean?
Yeah, with the dean. When are you going to start doing the? I think it's fall junior year.
Yeah, probably around
then. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing. Club. I wish we could say, hey, let's go and try out for the LA Breakers, because he's a no-brainer. It would be a no-brainer solution, assuming that it would be making the cut. Anyway, as we said, my God, I am so frustrated that these guys are so far away, and we build up scenarios of what it would mean to potentially do 2-3 sessions there, and it's just it could not work. It would put William in a deeply disadvantaged situation study-wise. It would mean taking away 6-7 hours of study a week, and that's just not something that I can, as a parent, I would endorse that. So that's if the LA Breakers decided to branch out in the valley and they start expanding in this side of the world, which, by the way, from a business perspective, why not? But that's a different conversation. Unless that there was a possibility, I think the conclusion is that we need to find or keep William in the hardest working environment to train at club level in the best way that he can. We have, so Dynamo, well, we know that at the end of March, I don't know, at the end of March, usually clubs do all sorts of mix and match and tryouts and shift and stuff. So at the moment, the plan is to stay with Dynamo and coach with Coach Jose, unless things change and we need to make alternative decisions. But I think the message is be in a club environment where you can train at the highest quality that you can and compete at the highest level that you can.
Yeah.
So that's I think it's the things that you can do. But then you have a plan, correct? So in terms
just
of
to improve myself and everything.
Yeah, don't talk to me. I mean, you have the things that you can control, so you can make your own commitment.
I mean, I know I just want to, obviously continue club, and then on top of that, I guess privates, maybe some training at home, and obviously maybe record games as well as like better my just my like vision on the field and look at my mistakes, and then also like for highlight videos and everything. So yeah, I'm definitely still gonna keep on working hard.
That's what I like to hear. And I'm really glad, William, that it came from you. So real quick, is there anything else, Susie, before I jump in? That's very good though. Very, very good. So helpful. So what's great, first of all, is I know we will do the academic side first, then the soccer side, which we were going to do anyways. So that to me is fantastic. And you're going to see, as you saw that list, like, I'm not sure which yet, and I can help you decide maybe academically what schools might be on your list, but like, the NYUs of the world, the Amherst of the world, these are great Division III soccer schools, like fantastic. Carnegie Mellon, John Hopkins, like these are very good soccer teams. So there's a ton of Division III. In fact, academically speaking, maybe other than the Ivy Leagues, the best academic schools are Division III. So that will work in our favor, which is why obviously we made that a goal. So that to me, that's one and the same. I'm glad you found NCSA. I'll help you through using them in the best way possible because they're great. In terms of club, I'm so glad you looked into it because now we don't have to think about it anymore. And like I said, it's still possible to play college soccer as long as you have a strategy where you go, okay, I'm going to play this level of club. I know that means there are no showcases. So what do I do instead? Kind of like, if I tell a doctor, I'm going to play soccer and he goes, well, you're going to get injured. I go, but I'm going to play soccer. So what are we going to do about it? So similar. So now we know, which is great because we can take steps. So that's no problem. Plus, because of Coach Jose, I know that he's getting literally some of the best soccer education that he can get, no matter what club he was a part of. So I'm very happy with that. In terms of the technical, I know you guys spoke to Greg. Has that conversation continued?
Yes, I had a preliminary call with Greg to understand how he works, etc., etc. So what we concluded that because I think that of course, the private sessions with, for example, with Coach Jose as a person that knows William and knows specifically the area where he needs to improve, it's obviously working on, makes sense from that perspective. What I found interesting, and we haven't had physically the time for William to follow up on that with him, what I found interesting is that having a perspective of someone that is detached enough to look at things from a distance and from a very, how can I say, unbiased, unbiased perspective is something that can maybe help you see things that you've never noticed before. And when you're entrenched into your game, into your club, into your team, obviously you have that specific vision. But having someone that looks you from outside may, as I said, may highlight things. And I love the fact that he has a more of a holistic approach, so he can look at different things. So what I was suggesting to Greg is that have maybe in the next few weeks, maybe one introductory session with William, where they can maybe talk more about the things what they could do. And then realistically, I think the time to upgrade into more one-to-one sessions, I think, is when school slows down and we have more bandwidth to incorporate additional private training and sessions, and make you really like a more build a package, if you like, and really have the time to deep dive into those areas where you may not have the time to do right now. So we just need to be realistic with how busy life is right now, which is crazy. But I love it. I thought he was a great guy. Sounded like a really good guy.
Greg he's my top. He's the best. So one thing I would say is absolutely I can help coordinate that. Greg also mentioned group trainings. So one of the things that if you guys are open to it, Greg coaches players that are older than William, and he could go train with older kids in the group environment. So 3 to 4 kids, which is really fantastic actually, because now he's playing in like a private S type of way, but with more kids, and it's cheaper. So that can be another way to go about this. Obviously, look, if you have Coach Jose, I'll be the first to tell you he's the guy. So that's great. That's what we really like. But if Coach Jose is busy or whatever else, Greg, I think, is a great option. I'll talk to him. He always does the first session kind of free anyways, just to get to know you. And here's the other thing that's a little different. So Greg works for me. So I've already sent Greg videos of William from Huddle going, this is who he is as a player. This is what I'd like him to work on. And I have videos for you, William, that I'd like you to do when you're not with Greg. Greg will give them to you, or I'll give them to you, that we'd like you to do when you're on your own. Because as you mentioned, you said you want to do some stuff on your own. And these are the videos you would do. And they're really challenging. So I think they should be fun for you. And it will help you improve on the field. So that to me is very sorted. And I'm super excited about that. There's a couple things I was going to ask you guys, but before we do that, is there anything else you wanted to mention?
Is I guess, I mean, to summarize where we are now is in terms of, let's say, starting formally to, to prepare a path for college application. We need to ensure that there are those circumstances clear. So start the shortlisting of the universities in line with the school process, which we need. I think it's advisable that we follow it, because we are pretty, it's all new for us. And understanding how the club situation will unroll in the next few months, and have a vision of where the club is going. Also, understand if they are going with these, these older kids, if they are going to organize these ID camps and participate to showcases. So even if it's not part of these of the ECNL type of pre-organized events, but maybe the club can facilitate the participation of the older kids to these ID camp. So we just need to understand how this is going to work. And second, I believe that probably William's main goal is to get to the next tryouts for school as fit as he can, and try to make the team next year. So I guess that's probably the most compelling goal.
Yes.
Excuse the pun. Because ultimately, this is closest objective to try and achieve for next year. And I think that is going to also inform what will be the following steps to prepare for soccer, because obviously if I make the varsity team, I can put that into my package. If I don't make the varsity team, I don't know, is it gonna be a very different situation? So that is also something that we need to, I guess, take into account. But William seems to be pretty much
We spoke a little bit about this last time. Oh, hold on, I'm going to get into that in a second. But in regards to the academic process in terms of following the school's guidelines,
Yeah.
I don't know what their guidelines are, and I'm curious. One of the things that I think is really important, and then you tell me if the school agree or maybe disagree, is you have to start creating a list of what schools that might be of interest.
Yes, so
Okay.
guidelines is not guidelines, it's a process.
A process.
So they help you. The dean helps the work with the kids to shortlist. So they will have a workshop where they're gonna say, okay, so how far you want it.
Just choose your reach schools and
Yes,
everything like that.
small, big, reach, good, unreachable. And so they give them I guess a framework.
Do you know when they're going to do that?
You know when you're gonna do that?
The deans have not talked to us about it, but I believe
Probably
next year there's going to be like this kind of like life lab meeting, but it's just going to be based around colleges and selecting colleges and everything like that. So
Now, how many people does the dean have to oversee?
It's about 30.
No, it's like 100 throughout all grades. No, maybe less. There's 30 people in my grade. So I would say around 70, 80.
And is the dean the only one who's there to help you, or is there other people as well?
I think that the dean is the main person that we should speak to, or that I should like talk to for college stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
no, he's the guy that stays with each student for 3 years.
He's the college counselor.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, from what, and look, I remember going to high school. It wasn't Harvard Westlake, but the guy has to deal with 70 kids. He's not going to be able to give you the detention that you want. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. And it's not to say that you should do everything they say. But if I was advising you, which I am, you should start this list well before you have that meeting. And then you should start the list and then adjust it based off of the wonderful advice that they give you. Absolutely. But
Yeah.
you guys don't want to wait, in my opinion. Also, the tough part about being at Harvard Westlake, which is good and bad, look, every college can only take so many kids from a high school. So from one high school, because otherwise it's not reasonable. But now your high school is amongst the best. So you have to do something to stand out amongst the best, which is, difficult. And so I would say an earlier head start doesn't have to be working with me, but it's not difficult for you to say, hey, all you're doing is Googling what is the admission process, how much, does it cost? And one of the things I'll tell both of you, and I'll put this in the homework, William, it would be really valuable, I think. William Sherwood, okay, is applying to the same schools you may want to apply to. So are JT. These guys are older than you. They're going to have advice for you to say, oh, I wish I had done this when I was, a sophomore or whatever it might be. And that will be really helpful. And I just got off the phone with JT and Will, and like Will's dad, he had started thinking about the admission process for his son, and he himself went to Harvard, in sophomore year. And like, there's these things that help make you more likely to get into these schools. And I'm not an expert about that, but there's like similar to college soccer, there's like a thing, there's like a process. So William, if I was you, and this is something you and I can do together or with your mother, is we would sit down and go, leading up to the opportunity where the high school talks about it, I'd want to sit with you and go, okay, what schools do you want to go to? Then, of course, as a soccer person, I'll say, great, let's go to USC. Just so you know, USC doesn't have a boys soccer team. Just make a note, but let's still keep them on the list. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that's important to start. From a soccer perspective, I can tell you that if you guys, I understand the academic is first, and it's for me too. Like, I want William to go academically way more than I want for soccer. But if you wait another 6 months to create this list for soccer, it's gonna be too late, because this summer we need to talk about camps. Next summer we need to talk about camps, because now the only way William's gonna get seen by colleges are at these camps.
Yeah.
So to me, the most important next step, well, there's two, which I was going to mention before. Making Mike Arush happy, which it would be since you can't make the strength and conditionings because of practice, your club practice, we need to email him if we haven't already and explain our situation. And second is we need to make a list of schools. Those are the two most important things, I think. And then the soccer stuff, you improving as a player. Those three things we need to do very soon.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, sitting and wait, it's never a good game, for sure. So yes, that's it needs to be in the to-do list in the next well, anyway, have an idea before the school year ends, and have definitely the idea of how to use strategically the summer to either participate to events that make sense, and or at least have them clear in your space. Yeah, so definitely no, the listing it's a to do as soon as
Possible.
in the next 3 months.
And it doesn't, just so you know, like we can pretty much make your list and it doesn't take, look, we're going to look at every single D3 school in the country, not even soccer oriented. We're just going to look at all of them. We're going to click them and then we'll shorten it from there.
For sure.
And ones, two, and D3s and just schools in general. So it's definitely, I don't want you to feel overwhelmed though. It's not so difficult.
No, for sure. That's one thing. For sure. The in terms of reaching out for the workout, what's
I haven't reached out yet, but I was planning on maybe reaching out and maybe asking, I don't know, Evan or something if he wants to come.
I guess
with me.
from a social perspective, knowing how teenagers work, you don't sort of want to sort of hack someone else's workout on your own. But if you do have like someone that you know better, that aim for the same thing as you.
What I would encourage you to do is don't wait for Evan or anyone else to join you. Start working out, then invite them. Say, I'm going. You want to come? I'm going no matter what. Because regardless, whether you want to, you don't even have to do the workouts, William, if you don't want to, but you have to email Mike and say that you're aware that you're not going, because he's going to look at the list and say who was committed, and he's not going to see your name on the list, which you don't want that. There's no reason for that. So at the very least, we just have to send an email saying, hi, Mike, I won't be able to make it to strength workouts because I have club practice, which he'll be happy to hear about. I want to be part of the varsity team next year. So as a way to prove that to you, I'm going to work out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. How should I go about doing that? We want to ask him for his help.
Yeah. No, this is.
Do you know what time the workouts are, the school ones?
I know it's after school. I think it's 4:15 to 5:15.
You could do it before.
I could squeeze it in
before your club practice.
Mm-hmm.
Totally up to you. As you feel, physically, you want to be mindful of that, but that would be, I'd have to leave to your discretion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to leave that up to you guys. Ideally you would do it on a different day, but if you can't, or you want to be with the guys, which is also great, maybe you tell the coach, you could even tell Mike that. You could say, look, Mike, I'm going to do 1 rep less than the other guys because I have practice afterwards. That's fine. Just keep them in the loop.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Now, do you need help drafting that email, or do you want to do it on your own?
I was just wondering, how would I go about like sending him an email about this when I haven't been officially like informed that there is that this is happening.
You've spoken to.
You say you spoke to me.
Okay.
Absolutely. Look, what I've already told Mike, I already said to Mike, look, I'm working with William. William really wants to be part of varsity. Mike said, well, if that's the case, he has a lot of work to do. So this is me expressing basically what Mike is saying, which is from a technical perspective, you're solid, but athletically, you're behind the 8 ball. Now that, like I said, we talked about this before, with a Jose style coach, that could maybe work in your favor, but this is the way Mike plays. And Mike, obviously, he's an NCAA championship winning coach. He knows what he's doing. And he likes players that are pretty athletic. And that is your weak point. And so the gym will be a piece of that. And what's really important for Mike, as you heard him say probably on the bench from time to time, he'd walk over to the bench and go, I want somebody who wants this. Who wants it? And he's going to remember William came to every practice, or William was in contact. William cared. We have to force that into Mike's brain.
Yeah, that sounds
So yeah, something we could say. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Something we could say. Can you guys see this? Okay.
Yep.
We could say something like, "Dear Coach Arush, I hope this finds you well. I have been working with Coach Zev to create a plan to prepare me for the high school season. He explained that the strength, what is it called? Sports performance workouts are starting up. Due to my club schedule, I plan on attending as many as I can, but I have practice right after. You can help me fix this, but I have practice right after.
William is a big boy. You can you know how to draft that.
Hey, I'm
Perfect.
I'm not that bad at writing.
No, I'm sure you're an expert.
He's got it.
I just want you to know the grammar and the phrasing.
Yeah,
so you can.
he definitely can put together a good note. I think he was more. Tell me if I'm wrong, Willie, but I think you were more like not trying to crash. So you know how you know, don't appear like rude, if you like.
Absolutely. No, definitely don't have to worry about that. I agree with
Okay,
you.
that's
smart.
good. That's good. I think
That's
that was
very
his only concern. So I think he can show that he can, you know, write a note and take in his hands the things that he can control, as you says, because he can definitely do that.
Great. That is what I like to do. And we had talked about, from a technical perspective, I had given you some homework last time. We talked about 50s and the strength training. I think I sent you all of that stuff. Do you still have that, William?
Yes, I have it all.
Okay. So from between now and whenever you talk to Greg or myself next, obviously you can start working on the technical program and the strength program.
Yeah, I have to say, we can't promise to get into a routine right now, because right now there's too much going on. But William, he's you know, he's working out. He's working out on club, etc. But Coach Zev, I don't think we can go into a measurable, a constant routine that can be monitored in a regular way. That's a promise that right now cannot be fulfilled. I think we just need to be realistic on what we can and what we can't do. And it's just his schedule doesn't allow a commitment of a precise schedule. You see what I mean?
Totally understand. No problem at all. No problem at all.
Yeah, we have to be just realistic on how much we can commit to, because definitely a routine is a good thing, but there are lots of routine in place right now. We just need to we need to be realistic.
Absolutely. No, I'm totally for you. I'm the soccer guy. So I'm going to be just like your teachers want you to do homework all day. I want you to play soccer all day. And it's your job, William, as the grown up, to go, okay, what are my goals and what is reasonable, so I can still live a healthy, enjoyable life, because that's much more important. I think you probably, I don't know if you heard, but the Stanford women's goalkeeper committed suicide about a week ago, which is terrible. And we don't want any of that to happen to our boys. So that's the most important above all else. And if you need something, let me know. As we go through this process, I just want to be clear that because of your crazy busy schedule, it will put you in a difficult place to play college soccer. Now, to work to play varsity, that is I think, a good goal, and that's in our right in front of us. The college soccer aspect, as you guys both see, I just want you both to understand the commitment it does take is ridiculous. It's crazy. And if we, decide, look, we're going to do our best, but we know that doesn't mean it's the best for soccer, that's fine. I just want you to know, because I want you guys, because I care for you, and I just want you to know the reality of the situation.
I mean, the message is very, very, very clear, and that's why we need to have yes, we need to do it by stages, and knowing that we cannot just wait and for things to happen, but we need to do it by stages. And realistically, I think it's after the summer. I think we will have a better idea of what we can aspire to.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So what would you guys like to do in regards to the next step? Is there something that you guys want to do that I can help you with? You guys want to go, hey, let's get back to this in a month? What are you guys thinking?
I think that everything that William can do in his power to keep physically prepared, develop in shape, and all the personal development, I think we have the instruments that we can use in place. That's for your own personal thing. I think that the next step with you, Coach Zev, would be two levels. On one level is when the pre-selection of colleges will be done in the next probably 2 or 3 months, and meet after that and say, and have you give us an idea of, these are good option, academic / soccer, that so we can incorporate the soccer element in progressing towards the shortlisting of the university. So that's a very, very good touch point. The other touch point would be, well, I don't know when it would be, more the skills assessment. I don't know if you need to have a session with William, or if you want to have a feedback more from a physical perspective, or I don't know, over the summer. I don't know when it could be a good time to touch base on the physical element.
From the physical perspective, I can have a session with him. Absolutely. We can do that in like 2 or 3 months. Also Greg, whether he works with you consistently or inconsistently. And then of course we have Jose, who I can talk to on the daily. So between that, I can give you guys my opinion of how far I think William is from playing varsity, if that's what you mean. In regards to the pre-selection process, William, you are going into your junior, correct?
Yeah.
So this summer, especially next summer though, but this summer would be a summer where we would play with college ID camps. Next summer would be like, we're going to college ID camps and we're going to as many as we have. So this summer, if you guys are like, to your point, let's, be mindful of the schedule, see where we're at. If we miss this summer for ID camps, not the end of the world, but next summer is
the decisive one.
And I would even argue next winter, next spring, and next summer are everything. I would probably want William to try an ID camp just from a soccer perspective. Like, hey, those kids are good. I wonder what level they are, just to play soccer, because there's going to be some good level kids at these camps. Even if it's not a camp we're getting recruited for, just like it could be a UCLA camp or a Stanford camp. Now he gets to see the campus and he gets to play soccer, which is fun, So if there's an opportunity for a camp like that, there's, that's it during the summer. We don't have to talk about this now, but closer to the summer months, college ID camps don't only have to be for recruiting. They can be for the academic experience. And then you get to also play soccer while you visit the campus.
Absolutely. So, from my perspective, to close on the conversation is with regards to pressing or not the button in building a package for university would be, yes, after the soccer season in junior year, so next year, and see where he stands. Because if he has a good season and he has good support from coach, then obviously it makes sense. If for any reason things don't work out, then if as a basic we don't have the support of from school, it's just, it's almost like going towards the war without the weapons.
Absolutely.
So we just so I think that was going to be the let's say then the
William, how do you feel? Sorry. William, how do you feel about all this?
I mean, it seems like a lot, but I'm definitely ready to do it all and put all my effort into it.
Okay, it's very important because obviously your mother's here to support you. I'm here to support you, but it has to be yours. And as you go through this process, my role is to tell you, we got to start early. We got to do stuff now. Your mother's role is to tell you, hey, get to school, get to everything else. And your role is to go, okay, how do I balance all of these? And, how do I feel? What do I want? What do I want to, prioritize in this with the academics and soccer, music, all of the above. So I'm always here for you, William, if you need anything, but I think that's good. As long as you're feeling good. Would you guys like me to text Greg, or would you guys like to wait on that for another couple months?
I think we just want to wait.
Okay.
I don't think that anything will be done before the end of the school year. He needs to finish this year, concentrating on his school performance, keep his club going strong.
And then collect video, please.
Collect video. So this is all like prep work that he can do and he should do by himself. Next year, in particular, the soccer season will be the decisive factor of where it ends.
I love that idea. That's great.
And we will make concrete decisions based on having the situation more in hand. Makes sense?
Makes total sense. The last thing is, I really like this plan, William. The whole purpose of this conversation to begin with your mother was, do we want to pursue this or not? And now you get to see, okay, this is what it takes. This is what I'm able to do. And this is what's realistic. And what's fantastic about that is my goal is that when we get to the turning point, say the beginning of your junior year, and you go, okay, I've learned everything. Wow, I really just want to play high school soccer and focus on school. Now you don't have to ever think, hopefully for the rest of your life, what if I could have played college soccer? Because we would have done it. And that's really what I want this to be. And then on top of that, luckily, which is cool, this whole process will help you play for the varsity team, which is fantastic because that's something I think you would really enjoy. I know that I would enjoy that for you. So this is very good, William. You guys I'm so glad we spoke about this because, the worst thing is when the parents of the high school say to me on their senior year or junior year, I want to play college soccer. And, they don't know what it takes.
Yeah, it's, and sometimes we just, we have so much things that juggles, and at the end of the day, we cannot ignore that we need to enjoy the journey as it unfolds. While we need to have the 3 steps ahead goal clear in our heads, but what I'm hoping for William to enjoy is a favorite sport played at the best suitably challenging level that he can, and have as a first step the best experience to play a school that he has next year to represent his school. So I think that's the most realistic and ambition that he has for himself. And I know that I'm talking a lot, but I know that that's what he feels. So that's I think is the key message. Let's prepare to have the best time possible representing your school for next year, and let's try to be as in the best state as you can.
The last thing I would just say is, William, as you go through this process, ask the old upperclassmen, what was it like applying for schools? how did you pick your school? Why did you pick that school? Because they went through it already. And they went through not only, look, I can't really advise you. I didn't go to Harvard Westlake. Your teammates, like they went through they had your teachers, they know everything. So I would really ask them, if you want to talk to the seniors, or like Zoller's a really nice guy. You can talk to Zoller about anything, mention, hey, how was it for you? I think that you might enjoy it too. Cool.
Okay.
Absolutely. No, that's a good, definitely is a good insights from someone that's going through the process now, for sure.
Cool.
For sure.
Okay, guys, thank you
Right.
so much. Like I
Thank
said,
you so
I'm not
much,
gonna
Seth.
put you guys on the calendar for now, but text me if you need anything, soccer-wise or otherwise.
Yeah,
And I'll be
absolutely.
around.
Thank you so much, Coach Seth.
Absolutely, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye,
Thank
bye-bye,
you.
bye-bye, bye-bye.
Bye.